Hi everyone, just wanted to thank BigCommerce for letting us come along and share some of our experience and thoughts on the e-commerce world. We're from Matter Design and we've had a few years experience in this space, and so really looking forward to sharing a couple of our thoughts on what we've learned in that time. My name's Garth Leadbetter. I'm the Implementation Project Manager here. And I'd just like to introduce firstly Nigel Poole. He's the founder and director here. So do you want to just introduce when and how you founded Matter and where we're at today?
Thanks, Garth, and thanks to BigCommerce for inviting us along today. So I founded Matter back in 2003 as a design agency back then. And over the years, with the advent of the internet and our clients just needing more and more digital, we've very much become a digital agency, and these days very much e-commerce focused. So what we really try and do here is put together a team that has capabilities in e-commerce. That's to create and build sites and e-commerce systems, but then to also support our clients in getting the most out of those systems going forward.
Great. And a more recent addition is Bettina Luft. She's joined us the last few months. And do you want to just share, it's part of off the back of we've been building e-commerce websites and looking to build off what else can we offer our clients off the back of that. Do you want to expand on what your role involves and what you're bringing to the team?
Hi, yeah, absolutely. So my name is Bettina. I'm the head of technical strategy, and I come from a more of a strategic direction, really trying to help our clients once the website is live and running to continuously improve their performance. I do a lot of data analysis and then drive the customer experience for them to become more customer centric and optimize the customer journey.
Yeah, great. So between the two of them, and I'm going to share a couple of things, we're hoping that we can share some of our experience and walk through one of these strategies that we work with some of our clients and focus in on localization. So we're going to go through that today. So Nigel, what do we mean by the term localization?
Well, localization is one of the strategies that we talk about here at Matter when we're talking particularly to omni-channel clients. Omni-channel clients have physical locations close to the customer. And so what we want to do is look at how can we leverage those physical locations and create a more local experience for the user. And so that's about what is it about the brand that is close to the customer, and how can we make that a very relevant experience for the customer without confusing them with other information from other locales.
And I guess the local experience has become more and more relevant given the circumstances around COVID-19 and both in Australia and the rest of the world. So yeah, I guess I just want to pass to Bettina to talk about that. What's happening to society level and across the globe, and specifically in Australia, to unpack that as a launch pad to then talk about how that impacts e-commerce.
Yeah, I think COVID and the pandemic has changed life in many, many ways. The way we work, the way if we go to work or work from home, the way we educate our kids, the way we move around, and we've seen a lot of social distancing, travel restriction, and so forth. I think last year it really felt when COVID hit, it really felt that everyone was holding their breath. No one knew what to expect and what's coming next. This year seems to be a bit more around, we realize we have to live with this for a while. So it's really about pivoting. I think pivoting has been one of the words last year, to really adjust to the new circumstances and make sure we can provide the experience and tailor our offers to the new challenges and the new environment we are facing at the moment. What we've also seen in the market is, COVID has led to an extraordinary e-commerce growth. I think KPMG did a study about Australian retailers really realizing the growth of 5 years within 6 months, really accelerating their performance and digital transformation. And assuming Australia continues to do very well in managing, I think mentioning COVID, and in many ways, I think we are very lucky here compared to many other areas in the world. I think we're definitely going to see a return to physical stores and physical retailing. However, I think the last year has changed life and has changed behaviors in many ways. And I think it's really about adjusting to the new circumstances and making sure we can tailor our experience to the new way customers interact with our brands. I think what also changed is the way we move, not only coming from international travel restriction. We even saw travel restrictions within Australia. We even saw it within very specific areas where you couldn't move, I think, further than 5 km. We got very much adjusted from working from home and educating our kids, as I mentioned, at home. We see our lockdown, social distancing. So I think the regional area within your home becomes much more important to you. And I guess also changes the way we look into localization. We've seen shifts of, I guess, workers moving more regional that wouldn't have had the chance before because they were very much bound to driving through the city or commuting to the city on a daily basis to go to the office. This is kind of shift, I guess, the way we live. So we can afford to move to much more regional areas, afford larger properties, as well as more tied to shop locally and also support our local retailers. And I guess localization, but not necessarily has to be a physical experience. We can tailor to the localization also in the online experience. Just taking weather, for example, if you look at Australia, I think the weather up in the north and down in the south are very different, and we want to make sure we also tailor the content and especially the products we are showing to specific users in specific areas in the world, but also within Australia, to tailor those products very much to the needs of the users. And that localization doesn't necessarily have to be in friction with globalization. Is, for example, shown by Aesop, who successfully expanded globally, but keeps the physical experience very localized by really allowing a localized design interpretation for all their stores. So if you have a chance, for example, go to the store in Sydney, you will find a design that's very much tailored to look like a rocky coastline, and tries to give you really that coastal Sydney experience.
Yeah, that's an exceptional example of approaching a brand from a globalization expansion point of view, but also being able to be really specific in how they address each local instance in their physical space. But how does that play into online? And I guess we've always had this traditional view of online versus in-store. And so typically the traditional approach that online brought the pros of being easy to browse lots of products, being able to do it from your own home or wherever you prefer and not having to even get in the car or head anywhere. There's typically known as lower running cost for the businesses, access to more customers in more locations faster and more easily, and fast to roll out those campaigns. But then with the shop front, they've got their pros as well, and like what we were just looking at with Aesop, but also many others, being able to create a really beautiful in-person experience, and the customer service that another person on the other side of the desk or wandering around the shop with you, being able to trial the physical product, no shipping costs because you just purchase and walk away with it, the instant gratification and knowing how important that is in psychology of a buyer. And then what we've been talking about, that really localized feel and approach of the shop that you might have in one town in Australia, maybe very different to on the other side of the country, and that's really specific to the needs of that town and relevancy of that type of people and that subculture in that area. Again, then looking at cons online, traditionally we've been looking at, or it's been known to be difficult to provide a sensory brand experience. You always got this barrier of a screen rather than being able to touch and feel things. It's easy to leave the store by a click, basically, rather than having to walk out of a store or disengage with people, which is harder than just turning off your computer. It's been difficult to personalize the shopping experience and can't localize to a particular area. Whereas then the in-store experience, some of the cons being limited to access to customers by location and opening hours. A lot of these are in direct contrast with each other. And so then also higher running costs of rent and putting everything into the store, the fit out. It's slower to roll out campaigns because you do it physically and not just roll out a digital banner. And it's a slower journey from marketing to purchase to get them in store rather than a few clicks through the journey. And so this has been pitched over the years as a big fight, online team versus in-store team. And a lot of presentations are often pitching the benefits of one side versus the other, or even the best case scenario where both teams are working well, but they're off doing their own thing in their own isolated and siloed teams. And forever they may not speak. And that's kind of been a pretty typical approach by a lot of brands and businesses, how online and in-store rollout would happen. But when we all pull back, we know that that's not reality, and we know that customers don't actually think about this divide or even care about the divide between those two channels. And it's only really us on the brand or business side that care about that division. And typically it's only because we have a job title that's defined by that. And so I think we all are very aware that that divide isn't there and shouldn't be there. And we should be working together to provide a great experience for the brand across both channels. And so for the customer, we want to be presenting a consistent brand experience across those channels, but utilizing the strengths and minimizing the weaknesses of one channel by playing up to it through the other channel. And most importantly, and this is where we're kind of going to go to today, is learning across channels. And so the more that technology develops, we can learn from the in-store experience and try and bring that into the online. There's some things that we can't do because it's not a physical store, but there's plenty of learnings that can be had from in-store experiences that we can try and replicate in a digital way. By those teams working closely together and sharing those learnings, I think there can be a lot of progress to be had. Additionally, to complicate things, it's not even as simple as online versus in-store anyway. Online can be through many channels, and we're looking at terms like omni-channel, and can be selling through many of these platforms. But even in-store, you've got your big mall experience compared to your boutique store, and maybe there's a pop-up store, and there's different ways that in-store experiences can be rolled out as well. At the end of the day, what we want to kind of make it all about is less about us, the business or the brand, and more about these consumers, their experience both online on their phones, on their computers, when they walk into the mall, when they walk into a local shop around the corner, that they get that the consistent brand experience, but also the benefits of those different channels for what they can offer working together. So Nigel, I'll hand over to you. And how do you see successful retailers utilising both online and in-store into the future?
Well, I guess the first thing I'd say is bricks and mortar isn't dead. I mean, if it was dead, we wouldn't see pure play online retailers like Amazon, Birchbox, and Casper opening stores. So what we're seeing is that the physical location is part of a strategy, and I think what we'll see is retailers that can combine a strategy that has online and offline elements and combine that into a holistic strategy. I think we'll do the best. And so I guess what we want to do when we work with our clients is look at how can the digital system that we build enable that. How can we take the pros of online, the pros of offline, and create a competitive advantage so that brands that have a physical location actually have an advantage over ones that don't. So what we might do is we'll have a look at some case studies that we've of some projects we've done. So we're going to have a look at some strategies where we've built in appointment booking. We've looked at stock availability per store, click and collect, and delivery options, and also local pricing. So how have these strategies been executed so that we're giving a consumer a very localized experience? So the first one we'll look at is Witness Shoes. Witness Shoes has around 100 locations in Australia and New Zealand. They're selling women's shoes through their network of stores. We actually went live with this site 1 week before COVID hit, and so a lot of the systems had to be somewhat rolled back before fortunately being able to implement them again as we came out of lockdown. But what we've been able to do for Whitner is give the customer a really good understanding of where they can get this product close to them. So on Whitner, a user can define what's their favorite store. It might be their closest store to their home, it might be the closest store to their work, but essentially they can flag a particular store being their favorite store. And once they've flagged that, we essentially have a location for the user. We can then make that experience more localized to them. So we can be displaying product availability of every product as they're browsing through. And we can display if it's in store and if it's not in store, if it's available for delivery. So if we look at the network of stores across the country, they have a lot of, I guess, stores and stock close to a large proportion of their customer base. And so one thing Whitner's done well for a while is really use their store locations not just as a store, but as a distribution center. And this is to the point where they've got hub stores which are doing the majority of delivery orders from online from these central hubs, but they also have the option to ship from any of their stores if the stock is there. And so what that means is they can sell more of their stock. They don't have to sort of transfer stock back into a central warehouse to then send it to the customer. And it's a very efficient way to do business, and it means that they can deliver online orders faster because they're closer to the customer. So if we have a think about one example of a buyer's behavior, we've got a buyer here who's located in Melbourne, has a particular product in mind that she wants. She wants size 36 cream leather shoes for an event that's coming up on the weekend. And she's going to need them fast. So what she can do on Whitner is look at the products that are available. She can shortlist the products that she is most interested in, and using the favorite store that she's indicated, in this case being Brighton, she can see if it's available or not in Brighton. And she can then make a decision before even going to the cart and choosing shipping options. She already knows what her, she's already setting her expectations on how quickly she can get that product. So she can either get the sandal by going and picking up in store because it's in her local store, or she can look at the delivery options for the mule, and she knows that that is going to be available, and she can assess whether she'll get that in time for her event. So if we look at the first case is where she can select the sandal, which is close to her store. In the second case, the mule is in multiple stores throughout the store network, and so the system will provide delivery options to her to choose from, whether it's standard shipping or express shipping. And we've also built a case where we have same-day delivery options, where product can get couriered to the customer on the same day of purchase. And to do that, we've built some technology which will look at where that stock is located within range of the customer to be able to get it to them that very same day. And then if we look at TradeLink, TradeLink has a network of around 200 stores across the country. They sell, those stores can be different store types. So we have trade branches, and then we have showrooms where there's sort of different grades of showroom, whether they're destination showrooms or right down to mini showrooms. But essentially, there's locations that are better catered for trade customers, and there's locations that are better catering to end consumers. And so on their site, one of the things we implemented is a store finder with a filter for store types. So the user can find the right store for them and make sure that they are going to not waste their time going to a store that isn't a showroom. So if we have a think about a couple of use cases, we have in this example a plumber who is doing a job on the Gold Coast, and we have an end consumer who lives in Byron Bay doing a renovation. So we'll have a look at what the website does to localize the experience for these two users. So firstly, we've got the plumber. He needs to finish a bathroom install today, and he needs to pick up this toilet that his customer's ordered from the local store at Southport. So in order to do that, he can see the product online. He can confirm what the price is for that location. TradeLink has local pricing, so they have a large range of products of all different sizes, and getting products to different parts of the country does cost money and affects the cost of the end good. So by creating localized pricing, it means that upfront the buyer has a clear expectation of what they're going to pay. So they're not going to get then sort of a much bigger shipping cost because of the type of product that they're getting. They're actually seeing the price that they're getting up front. So in this case, our plumber knows what price it's going to be, and then he can use the store finder to find the store where he's going to go pick it up. He can see the store information. He can click to get directions, and he can see that he can pick it up from 6 a.m. On Wednesday. So in this case, the store information becomes a really good tool to make the plans around this job. And then if we look at the case of the end consumer, she's in a research stage, so she's interested in this product. She's looked at the product page, and she's learned what the price is for her location, and she's decided she wants to go and see it in the flesh. So she's going to go to the closest showroom. So in this case, there's a showroom in Byron Bay. She can see that the showroom hours are different to the branch hours. So the branch hours will be earlier to cater for trade customers, whereas the showroom hours are later to cater for end consumers. So with this system, we've been able to surface both options so that the end consumer isn't wasting her time going at the wrong time of the day and the showroom not being open. She has the option to book an in-store appointment. She has also the option to book a virtual consultation or make a call to see if the products that she's looking for are going to be at that store. And so all of this information is all available through this store finder. And then that gives you some ideas of a couple of cases where we've been able to use very specific live information about product data across a store network to enable a much more localized product experience. Another site that we recently pushed live was Pillow Talk. And on Pillow Talk, if you go to the Pillow Talk site, you'll see these same concepts in action. And I think what's interesting about Pillow Talk is that when you're on a page, you're looking at a number of different products at one time. You might be looking at a range of towels that come in a number of different sizes. And through the system, you can see which of these products is available at stores all at once using live data from the system. And so what that means is we want to build confidence in the customer that what they see on the website is what is in the system for Pillow Talk, and that they can confidently go and see that product in the store, or they can click and collect and know that that's actually going to work for them. And this all relies on a really tightly integrated system that is designed in a way that has very live data. So what we want to do with inventory in particular is reference back to the source of truth as close as possible. We don't want to layer too many different databases of inventory values because that can lead to misinformation for the end consumer. And so in order to achieve these experiences, we at Matter we're very interested in how physical locations could fit into an e-commerce strategy. And we recognize that there's a number of functions that a user needs in order to get that service through the website. And so we developed a system which enables us now to localize the experience for the customer. So this includes this is with a product called Localizer. And what Localizer does is provides the database and content management system for the physical locations and enables that through a store finder. It enables the user to define their nearest store and for us then to provide data that is relevant to that store. It enables us to provide accurate stock availability by referencing out to an ERP inventory source, or whatever is decided as the live source of truth for inventory, so that we're getting accurate live data on the website. It enables delivery options such as click and collect, and it enables an easy way to manage all the information about a store, so store location, store hours, and to push that out to Google My Business, to various web channels, and to be able to keep a very, central source of that content that can be managed efficiently. So our clients are able to manage all their stores in their network through Localizer, and they don't have to go and edit it out on Google My Business separately to the website. And this can be done with ahead of time with a scheduling tool we've built in, so that our clients can schedule updates to store information. So that might be changes based on public holidays coming up, or it might be responding quickly to changes due to a COVID lockdown and changes to store hours that weren't anticipated. There are just a few examples of projects that we've worked on, and there's more that we're working on at the moment. And this is an area that we've spent a lot of time solving problems, finding really good solutions for omni-channel retailers. And if you're a retailer that has physical locations and want to talk with us about how we can leverage that as part of your e-commerce strategy, we'd love to have a chat with you. So please give us a call, and we'd love to learn about your business and learn about your plans and see if we can help you with that.
Cool. Thanks, Nigel. Thanks, Nigel, and thanks, Bettina. I think, yeah, I'm sure that was really helpful for everyone listening along to hear about how in this current time where we're thinking about off the back of COVID and thinking about how online and in-store can work together, and in particular when we're thinking about creating localized engagements with people. We hope that's really helpful, and we just thank BigCommerce again. Thanks for running this event. We love you guys, and we'll chat soon.